Hello, everyone. It is Monday, and that means it is time for the rant and preview. We're going to go over 3 shows this week. I'm trying to include Titans. I'm trying. They're making it very difficult. I can't find photos reliably or synopsis for episodes, so I'm not sure what's going on with Titans. But yeah, we got 3 shows we're going to talk about. We're going to go over Superman and Lois. We're going to go over Gotham Knights, and we're going to talk about The Flash here. So everybody had a good weekend. I'm ready to kick off this week with, I think, what's going to be some exciting TV. At least 2 of these 3 episodes I think are going to be pretty exciting. If you're watching this on playback, there will be timestamps eventually. When this ends, I will be able to add those in. But before that, if you're here live, thank you so much. We have some people in the chat. I'm going to do some shout outs for some of the people that are here. We have Josh Darby, who is a Team Eric member, James 56, Hell's Bells, King Lee's Jr. is here, Kata Miara is here, and Levi Oliver, Lillian Claire, Feather Guardian, and Robert Blake, aka Darth Bunyan, also a Team Eric member here early in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. All right, so a couple things before we get started. Hey, Ben Tinbig, how are you? So we have pictures for both Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights, but as of right now, as far as I can tell, there have been no promo photos for this week's episode of The Flash. So I don't know if it's just something that's not easy for me to find. Typically, I got a couple places I go to find photos. Those websites don't have them. Flash TV News doesn't have it. They're just not out there. I don't know if they don't want to spoil this week's episode. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to avoid spoiling anything because we have a trailer. I'm going to skip through the trailer. We won't watch the whole thing because we know that YouTube loves to flag these videos when you look at trailers. But I haven't seen any official promo photos for this week's episode of The Flash. So they'll probably come out like an hour after I do this stream because I swear to everyone, I feel like they wait until I'm done with this before they release these promo photos because it seems to be what they do every single week. I don't know. Josh Darby with the How's It Going super sticker, a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel. It means so much, Josh. Good to have you here. And it's going good so far. I got my haircut, got my beard trim like an hour ago. So feeling ready to go for the world. Just hit my desk there. Ready to go and take on the world. All right, let's start out. We're going to talk about Superman and Lois first and look at the photos. So this week's episode is titled Forever and Always. It is episode 7 of season 3. By the way, no idea about renewals at this time. The CW has not released anything about renewals. We'll probably find out in the next week or so whether or not we're going to get any of these shows. And I will do a special stream specifically to talk about that whenever those things arise. So within a couple of weeks, we should know something about the shows, whether or not we're going to be getting them back in 2024, which I absolutely hope that we do, obviously. All right, let's look at the synopsis. We're going to do like we always do. We're going to read through it, and then we're going to break it down a little bit and try and figure out what we're going to see on this episode and look through the photos. It goes, Lois and Clark dig deeper on Bruno Mannheim, starting with his connections to Hobbs Bay Medical Center, while Jonathan and Jordan panic at home over Lois's dire diagnosis. Meanwhile, Mateo comes to Smallville to meet John Henry for the first time, and Sarah and Chrissy start to break the ice. So let's take each one of those portions of the synopsis and try and figure out what's happening here. So Lois and Clark dig deeper on Bruno Mannheim, starting with his connections to Hobbs Bay Medical Center. So this is going to be going further into the connection with all of the stuff that we know so far. The stuff with the metahumans who are using the Superman blood mixed with XK, the connections to the cancer treatments, to his facility that Lois saw when she was there at Hobbs Bay Medical Center. And, she was sneaking into his office. And so I think they're going to be following up on that and trying to figure out and connect the dots with that. We have while Jonathan and Jordan panic at home over Lois's dire diagnosis. So the brothers are sort of going to be dealing with the emotional impact of that, of her having cancer, which we haven't really seen them focused on this season. So I actually think we're going to see that as a primary focus in the episode. And so that's why we're going to go in that direction. Then here says that Mateo comes to Smallville to meet John Henry for the first time. I think that this is where a lot of people speculated that John Henry is going to recognize Mateo and know who Mateo was on that Earth, on his Earth. And that might be something that's going to be a little complicated when it comes to Mateo's relationship with Nat. So, yeah, we'll see if that's what actually happens. Sarah and Chrissy start to break the ice. So we know Chrissy is officially dating Kyle. And so Sarah is going to have to deal with her father with someone else other than her mom. And that's about what that is. All right, we're going to look at some of these photos. So here we have a photo of Clark sporting Clarkish clothing, but looking, they're doing a good job of making Clark look a little beat down with everything that's going on with his family. So not too surprised they were able to pull that off and make him look that way. We have the thing here with the boys and Lois and Clark there. Again, probably the same scene that we just watched or a similar time in the episode. Then we have them again. We're not going to blow that up. That's the same outfits and Lois and the same. They just took a lot of 4 pictures basically of the same scene there. Little variety, please. Here's the brothers together. The episode's going to focus heavily on them. My cat's scratching something. The episode's going to focus heavily on them. So yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of the brothers, which is fine. Another shot of them there. It looks like maybe Lois has to do like a extended stay at Hobbs Bay because she's been staying at home and then going in for treatments. But sometimes if the treatments aren't working the way they should, they will have you come in and stay. So it's possible that she's going to go in and have to deal with on-site treatment. And that is something that is going to take a toll on the family, which would explain why the boys probably are going to struggle a bit. I will say this, it is kind of interesting that they have Jonathan and Jordan wearing name brand shoes. Because typically on shows like this, unless a shoe company is paying to be shown on screen, they go with like something that doesn't have an obvious logo on it. So it's kind of interesting that both of them are wearing like name brand shoes. Maybe those aren't visible in the shots in the episode. Maybe we're seeing them here in the photos and they're not, we don't see them in the episode. There's the brothers again. This is a great shot right here in the fortress. So they're there together, probably trying to figure out some way to help their mom, if I had to guess, because I feel like they're not going to just believe that there's no way to help their mother. Okay, here we have John Henry talking to Lana here. And is this a love thing? Are they going to end up getting together? I know there's been a will they won't they situation with these two. And I feel like this might be, again, like the dipping in of the toes and then the pulling away of these two characters. And then we have a shot here of John Henry with Nat and Mateo. Maybe he's not going to recognize him. Maybe he doesn't know because in this shot, it doesn't look like he's saying anything. Or maybe he does recognize him and he doesn't want to say anything to Natalie. There we go. And then here we have the final shot of the family. This is probably before Lois has to go away. So I think what's happening here is Lois is telling them that she can't stay at home, that she has to go to Hobbs, the Hobbs Medical Bay Hospital, Hobbs Bay Medical Center. I don't know. It's what Hobbs Bay Medical Cancer Treatment Facility. She has to go stay there, is what she's probably telling the kids here. And so it's going to be quite an emotional time for them. It looks like we're going to dive back into the stuff with the cancer treatments, and we're going to continue with this. I'm a little bit burned out on it. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I've talked about it in my review. We've talked about it on the after party. It's not something that I'm totally 100% invested in anymore. I feel like it's gone its course now, and I kind of want to see some hope, and maybe we'll get that in this episode. I don't know. We'll have to see here. The algorithm kid says, what's your thoughts on Jonathan? I like Jordan Elas, but the new Jonathan is good. I like the fact that he said he was a fan of the show. There was an interview. He said he was the fan of the show, and he actually found out like very soon before the season was filming that he was going to be coming in and playing this character, and he wants to put his own spin on it. So I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to move on and talk about the next thing, which is Gotham Knights. Now, I know a lot of you guys have given up on Gotham Knights. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but we will talk about the synopsis, and I'll give my general thoughts on that. All right, so this is episode 7 of season 1, and it is titled Bad to Be Good. After a series of art heists in Gotham, Turner and the Knights turn their attention to a possible connection to the Court of Owls. Meanwhile, Duella and Carrie seek answers about the Talon from Eunice, and Rebecca turns to Harvey for help after fearing her life is in danger. So I'm not going to break this down too much because I mean, it is sort of becoming, I don't know, a bit predictable with Gotham Knights. So it's like they're doing this sort of monster of the week thing, where they're going in and they are dealing with a one particular thing as the Gotham Knights, but they're also dealing with the stuff with the Court of Owls. That seems like this is what's going to be happening in this episode. It says, meanwhile, Duella and Carrie seek answers about Talon from Eunice. So we're going to be dealing with Eunice again to sort of get the answer on Talon because I don't think they figured all of that out. So we have to sort of they have to figure it out now that we know they have to find out. So we have to do that. And Rebecca turns to Harvey after fearing her life is in danger. And that's obviously because of what happened with Lincoln. But little does she know that Harvey, one of his personalities, is working with the Court of Owls. So we have 8 photos here. We're just going to flip through them quickly. Turner there. I'm not going to try and even figure out what's going on with some of these. We have Cullen. We have Harper. These are actually really good shots, though. Turner. These are good pictures of each individual character. I have to give them credit. These photographs are great. We have Eunice with Duella. Then we have Stephanie and Harper together. They're still kind of doing this budding friendship between the two of them. And we have Duella with Carrie, and this is the Eunice situation. I don't think this episode is going to be super exciting. I'm going to be completely honest. I think this show is kind of reached up. It's reached a plateau for me. And I don't know if it's because they found out like midway through filming that this was probably going to be a 1-season show and maybe they just decided to sort of dial it in a little bit. I don't know. It's not super exciting. The mystery part is dragging on a little bit long. Right now in the show, we should be answering more questions and pushing into more mystery. And that's not really what's happening. So I'm a little worried that Gotham Knights might have been reaching its like plateau in terms of what the show is capable of doing. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Gotham Knights. All right, let's talk about The Flash. Now, yet again, no photos have been released that I have seen for this episode. So we're going to click through the trailer and talk a little bit about it. We can't watch the trailer here because YouTube will block the video, but we will read the synopsis, talk about the trailer, and then have a general conversation before we wrap everything up here. So we have A New World Part 1. Now, there was a little bit of confusion. We talked about it on the after party. Eric Wallace says that the finale of the show is going to be a 4-hour finale. And as per Eric Wallace's delivery, it was very confusing to people on what that meant. Did that mean we were going to get 3 episodes and then a 4-hour finale? Or what does that mean? It simply means that Eric Wallace considers the last 4 episodes to be one thing. These next 4 episodes are the series finale. That's what he meant when he said a 4-hour finale. He means 4 episodes of The Flash on television. So that is what he meant. It confused a bunch of people. It's not a 4-hour finale. It's the final 4 episodes are considered the series finale for The Flash. So do not expect to tune in at the end of the month and get a 4-hour finale for The Flash because that's not what's going to happen. All right, this is the synopsis. As Iris receives word of a career milestone, Barry is suddenly nowhere to be found. And trying to get back home, Barry runs across many familiar faces. Keone continues to figure out her powers, and Chester works on a suit for Allegra. All right, so let's break this down a little bit. We have Iris receives a word of a career milestone. It might be the Pulitzer. I'm assuming that's what it is because that would be a career milestone. It's something that we knew was coming from the beginning of the season. So no big surprise there, but she's going to be focused on that for the episode. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Barry is suddenly nowhere to be found. We don't know how Barry is going to go missing through time. I have a theory that I think it's going to be somebody else changing time, and therefore Barry is going to be displaced in time. That's what I think is going to happen because it makes no sense that Barry would be displaced in time and can't just come back to the present. So I think it's going to be time travel and it's going to affect Barry and he's going to be stuck out of time. That's what I think. We'll have to wait and see. And trying to get back home, Barry runs across many familiar faces. This is because he's trapped in the past. And so we're going to see a bunch of people come back for this episode who were from previously on the show or prior to season 1. So there we go. And Keone continues to figure out her powers, and Chester works on a suit for Allegra. So we know that Allegra's, the technology that Chester made for Allegra was broken last episode. So now he's going to work on a proper suit for her. And Keone trying to figure out her powers. We kind of know that she is basically Mother Nature or the life force at this point because of what Oliver said to her in the previous episode. So nothing too exciting in regard to that. I think that's everything that's going to be going on to some degree. All right, so we have the trailer here. We're just going to kind of skip through it. We see Barry. We see a phone off the hook because he's trying to make a phone call, I guess, to figure out what's going on. And then we have Henry and Nora back again, showing us that Barry has traveled into the past somehow as we see them together. And there's Barry looking at them from the distance. I'm super excited about this, and I'm going to give you guys my theories on what that means for the storyline that we're going to be getting here at the end. I have a theory about what we're seeing here. We have Joe back as just a beat cop. I don't think he was a detective at this point, talking to Barry. And then we have Barry facing off against Reverse Flash, the Matt Lesher Reverse Flash, prior to the death of his mother. And this is them the showdown in the streets. All right, here's my theory. Let's talk about this. I think this is going to be a new take on what we saw at the end of season 1 of The Flash. I think we're going to see our Barry, the one we've been following, on the opposite side of that situation where his mother is being killed by Reverse Flash. And as we know, it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, we get Flashpoint, and Flashpoint screws up a bunch of things. So there is a possibility. My cats are fighting. I'm so sorry. That we're going to see a version of that take place in this episode with Matt Lesher and Barry sort of facing off against each other, and our Barry saving his younger self. I do believe that's what we're going to see. Maybe not. I'm just going to, that's my shot in the dark there. We see the two of them sort of interacting with each other. Here we see that Matt Lesher's Eobard, prior to being Welzabard, is talking to Barry. And, that's interesting. We see the blue, the tease for Cobalt Blue, the crystal here, which is going to be picked up by the police department. And that could be Eddie's hand. That could be Eddie's hand, even though it looks like Joe. Oh, no, it is Joe. Maybe it is Joe. Oh, sorry, it is Joe. Never mind. It's Joe's hand. Picking up the crystal, which will end up somehow getting into Eddie or Malcolm Thawne's possession at some point. All right, it looks like we have the Reverse Flash getting ready to run in and kill off Nora, most likely. And we see Barry laying in the middle of the street. What is this? I guess this is them sort of, oh yeah, he interacts with them here. Somebody pointed out the Zatara's restaurant. That was like a little Easter egg, which I thought was interesting that they placed here. I don't know if you've seen it before. You guys have to let me know in the comments below, or anybody here in the live. Have we seen this restaurant before? Because I don't remember it. Maybe we have, and I'm just drawing a blank, but I don't think we have seen this before. But we see, Eobard and Barry here going at each other. This is kind of weird. They went to all the trouble last season of sort of redeeming Eobard. That whole redemption story with Mina and the negative Speed Force. They went through that whole redemption story for Eobard, and then we go back to seeing him sort of his, I guess we're going to see somewhat of his origin story. Yeah. It'll be exciting to see. And then we see them sort of facing off against each other here. It's going to be an exciting episode of The Flash. I'm really looking forward to it, to seeing what they're going to bring to the table. And yeah, super exciting. So back over here for a second. So let me know in the comments below what you think you're going to be seeing this week's episode of The Flash. I'm super hyped about it. This 4-hour finale, as Eric Wallace says it. All right, I'm going to answer a few questions, and then we are going to wrap things up today. All right, Algorithm Kid says, how come Pagey can do trailer breakdown showing the trailer and YouTube doesn't target them? They do. Pagey does get hit with copyright claims. It does happen. But it just depends on how quickly it happens and whether or not they block your video. And since I'm covering other shows besides The Flash, I don't want to have to deal with a copyright claim for just The Flash on a video where I'm talking about 2 other shows. So I just choose not to do it here. If you want to see me talk about trailers, like actually look at them and go over them, then I do that over on Twitch. That's where I cover that. So there we go. Josh says, I think we're going to get another emotional roller coaster ride and we'll get another great episode. Yeah, I think so too. I believe that is absolutely true. Also, I know someone mentioned, I can't remember who it was. I think it was James Gunn here in the chat, mentioned that the scripts have leaked. I'm not reading any scripts for the rest of the season. We only have 4 episodes left, and I have fun speculating about them. So I'm not going to read any scripts from any upcoming episodes because we only have a month left. I don't want to be spoiled too much on what's going to happen. I'd rather like theorize and then see if I'm right or wrong. So I avoid like any script leaks usually. It wasn't you. Okay, I don't know who said it. Someone said it. I can't wait for Eobard. He sounded so smug when asking why you're in year 2000. I think it's because this is coming full circle, you guys. I think it's full circle. I think we're getting a full circle moment where all of our characters are starting to this. It's going to bring everything around, if that makes any sense. So a lot of things, because again, if before this week's episode, if you have time to do it, before this week's episode of The Flash, Eric Wallace says that the primary source of content for this finale is going to be the last 4 or 5 episodes from season 1, like episode 17 to episode 23. So if you have a chance, if you have Netflix, go back and watch the end of season 1 of The Flash to prepare for these final episodes. So, yeah. Can you explain why he's not wearing the old suit? That's a huge plot hole. Which person? Who are you talking about? Why, who is not wearing the old suit? I'm not sure which character you're talking about.
According to airnow.gov,
Alexa, stop.
air quality in Virginia.
Alexa, stop. What the hell? I didn't even ask her a question. Why would Barry be wearing the old suit? Why would our Barry be wearing the old suit? I'm not following your line of thought there. It's our Barry. It's not season 1 Barry. Because we're crisis. It's because of crisis. So here's the thing. Anything that happened previously can be changed because we're in a different time now. But prior to crisis, everything that happened can be retconned. We've already seen it happen. There's been a lot of things that have changed since crisis that have no explanation whatsoever other than it being crisis. So I'm assuming that in this episode, if they show that scene again, they will show it now since crisis has affected it, how we're seeing it through the eyes of post-crisis. Hey, what's up, stranger? How are you? Hey, what's up, Bengals fan? I mean, here's the thing. Do we want them to throw away the best Flash suit we've ever had? Right? This is the best Flash suit we ever had just to make that scene work? Is that what we're advocating for here? I'm just asking. I'm not accusing. Do we want us to throw away this best Flash suit to go back to a leather suit with no gold boots just because that scene happened that way pre-crisis? Because if that's not what we want, then I don't even think we should be upset about it, to be honest. Okay, so you want them to make it more complicated. You want to make it more complicated because that would mean that then we would have to explain how crisis didn't affect a Flash that no longer exists based on the Barry that we have right now. That's what you're advocating for. That would not make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense. We're getting a visit from my cat. One of them. Yeah. Why would R. Berry change the suit for one scene? Why would they change the suit for one scene? That's stupid. I'm sorry, that's stupid to me. It's very simple, right? When we watch R. Berry go back to that scene in the house, we are watching it through the eyes of a new post-crisis scene. That's it. That's the answer. Why would we want them to retcon Crisis just to give him a costume for that one scene? I don't understand. Maybe I'm confused here, but I don't see the problem with it, to be honest. Josh Darby with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much. That's for one of the cats. Thank you. I'm just trying to okay, so let me spell this out here, right? So you guys want R. Berry to go back in time, somehow introduce this new leather suit without gold boots, then have him run into the house to do that one scene, and then throw that suit away and immediately go back to the better suit that we have right now because it happened all the way back in season 1 and we're supposed to ignore Crisis. I mean, to me, that sounds really dumb. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That sounds a little stupid. I think we're going to see the same scene play out with R. Berry wearing the current suit because timelines change. Crisis was a massive change, and now he has a different suit. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to keep arguing about it. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's a pointless argument. Do you mean the scene is going to be less emotional because he's wearing the suit he has now? Seriously? If that makes a scene less emotional, then I have to question your investment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's the Savitar suit then? Wasn't the Savitar suit supposed to be created by now? We're almost in 2024. The suit would have already been a thought in their mind. They would have already been working on it, right? Cisco would have lost his hands. He would have robotic hands at this point. Oh, that's right, because things change in the timeline. Things happen and they change. And not everything looks the same or happens the same on The Flash. So getting mad about that one scene is just kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. It's just a little, the literal title is A New World Part 1. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna go for about another 5 minutes. But yeah, what show? Okay, so here's a question. I'm gonna do a poll. Let's do a poll. These are fun. What show are you, in all caps, the most excited for? This is always interesting. I would love to talk about Titans. I'm going to add it in here anyway. I'd love to talk about Titans, but there's literally no information. There's literally no information. All right, so we have like 80 people in here. Go into the poll and drop your opinion on which show you're the most excited for this week. I'm going to say for me, it's probably The Flash. I'm really excited to see the beginning of the end, if that makes any sense. So I'm really excited to see the beginning of the end of The Flash. And so I'm looking forward to that and how this is going to kick off, especially after we had this amazing episode last week. So that's my choice. I can't vote, but that's my choice. I would be more excited for Superman and Lois, except the storyline is dragging it down for me a little bit. The cancer storyline is dragging it down for me a little bit. My cat is attacking my feet. I wish I could promote Titans, but they're not doing me any favors. They're not doing any favors for me with promotion materials. No photos, no synopsis, no nothing. Absolutely nothing. So there we go. We're going to get bricked up for the Flash episode again. I don't know. We have to actually talk to Paigey. You want to see the cat? Is that what you guys are asking for? Nairobi. Because Titans doesn't pull in numbers. It's like, should I do Titans or should I do another video instead? Titans doesn't pull numbers for my channel. It's pointless for me to review Titans regularly. Same thing with Gotham Knights. Nobody's really reviewing. Kata said it earlier. I can't find anybody reviewing Gotham Knights regularly anymore. It feels like that show is kind of just completely dropped off of the YouTube algorithm. I will talk about Titans at the end, like the whole season. Once the series finale comes out, I'll talk about the whole season together as one thing. And I'll probably invite Boba in because Boba does watch Titans as well. So I'm going to talk to him and see if he would like to do a collab review. So yes, I'm still doing shorts for Gotham Knights, but nobody's actually reviewing the show anymore. Like, I don't really see Gotham Knights being done in a big way on YouTube. It seems like people are sort of like just moving beyond that show. Thank you for the super sticker, Josh. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll review Gotham Knights as a series, like a season. You know what I mean? Look, okay, so I've talked about this before. If I review something on my channel that gets extremely low views, it hurts my channel. Because then YouTube looks at that and says, okay, people aren't watching this content, so we're not going to recommend it as much. And so it doesn't do well on my channel. So I have a certain percentage of views that I need to get on videos for it to make it worth it for me to make those videos. So that's how I gauge whether or not I'm going to review something. If there's an interest in it and I see numbers, I go, okay, people want me to talk about this. But if there's no interest in it and I'm not seeing those numbers, then I have to be like, hey, I can't do that. You know what I mean? When it comes to live streams, that's different. Live streams count differently than like regular videos, and shorts don't affect it at all. So, yeah, please, engage with the video. That means like liking and commenting and all of that. Those engagements help. So I looked back at Gotham Knights, and Gotham Knights wasn't pulling in a good percentage of engagement. So unfortunately, because of how YouTube works, as much as I would love to just make Gotham Knight content, to talk about it, I can't unless I'm trashing it. If I made a video trashing Gotham Knights, I would get 3 or 4 times the amount of views, and YouTube would promote it because YouTube likes to promote negative content. It's a very well-known thing on YouTube that they like to promote negative content. But I don't want to get on here and just spend every week talking trash about Gotham Knights. So that's where I draw my line. I don't mind being critical, but I don't want to just hate on something to hate on it. All right, let's end the poll, see what the numbers are, and then we're going to wrap things up. All right, so it seems like here we have Flash at 63%. We have Superman and Lois at 26%. We have Gotham Knights at 5%. And we have Titans at 3%. That makes sense. That's what the views are like on my channel. So there we go. That's people ask why I don't do stuff. This is why I don't do it. Anyway, I don't know what Paigey stream is going to be about. I haven't talked to Paigey. Twitter is weird. I got logged out of Twitter and I can't get back in. And that's how I primarily keep in touch with people. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys for coming in on our Monday night stream. And we'll be live again on Monday with another rant and preview. And hopefully we'll have more photos to talk about. So I will see everyone then. Have a great time. And I will see everyone later on Twitch with my Twitch live stream. We'll be going over some edgy topics and maybe making some videos. All right. Talk to everyone later. Bye.